Hola, welcome to our podcast, The Memory Keepers, the space in which realities faced by the Latino caregivers of Alzheimer's disease and other related dementia and their interaction with the systems of care are addressed. This is a series of 10 dynamic episodes filled with information and real experiences of people caring for their loved ones. This is a virtual educational space inspired by the Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients and also is directed to the social workers and providers at the large systems of care. This podcast is completely educational and informational without any profit interest. My name is Tolbe Barnaza and I am your host. I am so pleased to share this space with all of you. My pronouns are she, her, hers, y en español soy ella. I am a Latinx, Black, woman, immigrant, a daughter, sister, aunt, mother, wife, a friend, strong believer in spirituality. I'm an able-bodied, lifelong learner, committed to challenging systemic racism. I'm a social worker, highly motivated by social justice issues, and also I am a caregiver. On that note, I want to acknowledge that I'm currently located in the state of Massachusetts. This is the land that belonged to the Wampanoag and the Mashpee tribes, and northern native indigenous populations displaced from their ancestral territory. In today's episode, we will explore Latinx caregivers' unique cultural values that shape their caregiving experience within the Latinx community and the challenges and support systems that are integral to this journey. It will also describe how gender roles influence their ways of providing care and the impact of those factors on the mental health and well-being of Latinx caregivers. Join me as we delve into this critical topic and shed light on the intersection of culture, gender, and caregiving within the Latinx community. This episode delves into cultural perspective of caregiving and traditions shaping caregiving experiences within the Latinx community. We will talk about how cultural values, family dynamics, and community support systems influence the caregiving journey for Latinx individuals caring for ADHD patients. Gender roles and expectations intersect with caregiver responsibilities in the Latinx community. We will explore the unique challenges male and female caregivers face and the impact on traditional gender roles on caregiver dynamics. The Latinx population is identified by their closeness and a sense of community as fundamental value, where Latinx individuals often find solidarity, belonging, a sense of identity within the overall cultural community. Resilience is a key cultural value among Latinx populations, stemming from a history of overcoming adversity and challenges. This resilience is reflected in the ability to adapt to change, face hardships with strength, and maintain a positive outlook even in difficult times. Moreover, the Latinx cultural values are influenced by factors such as acculturation, biculturalism, and acculturation stress. Additionally, it is crucial to respect individual preferred designations and use specific labels that identify their nation or region of origin for more precise representation. Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients, cultural values, and gender roles. Understanding Latinx cultural values starts off by acknowledging that the Latinx community is incredibly diverse. encompassing individuals from various countries in Latin America, each with its distinct cultural traditions and values. However, common threads run through many Latinx cultures, including a strong emphasis on family, respect for elders, and a collective approach to caregiving. These cultural values often play a significant role in shaping the caregiver dynamics within the Latinx families dealing with ADHD. The analysis on a study conducted in 2017 indicate that the Latinx population in the United States has brought numerous benefits to the country, contributing to its cultural diversity, economic growth, and social fabric. Latinx immigrants have played a vital role in different sectors of the economy, including agriculture, construction, healthcare, and service industries. Their labor has been essential in filling critical workforce gaps and driving economic productivity. Introduction to the Latinx caregivers of ADHD. Alzheimer's disease and related dementias, ADHD, pose a significant challenge both for patients and their caregivers. In the United States, the Latinx community plays a crucial role in providing care for individuals living with ADHD. According to the Alzheimer's Association, Latinx individuals are 1.5 times more likely to develop Alzheimer's disease compared to non-Latinx white individuals. As a result, there is a growing need to understand the experiences of Latinx caregivers who are often at the forefront of providing care for ADHD patients within their families. Latinos comprise 21% of the estimated 40 million family caregivers in the United States. Alzheimer's disease and related dementias can place a tremendous financial and emotional burden on caregivers. Caregiving for someone with dementia has been long associated with declines in physical health and psychological well-being. Gender roles and caregiving responsibility. Gender roles within the Latinx community often dictate traditional caregiver responsibilities. Women are frequently expected to take on the role of primary caregivers for ADHD patients, reflecting deeply ingrained cultural norms. This gender vision of caregiving labor can have profound implications for women's well-being as they navigate the complex demands of caregiver while balancing other familial and societal expectations. Cultural gender norms in the Latino community inevitably place females at the root of care. Caregiving, especially for one's parents, is a cultural moral expectation, and it demands that how you have to be. For daughters, providing care for sons is optional. A good daughter, una buena hija, is sacrificing and provides care unquestionably, or else is viewed as a bad daughter, una mala hija, o un mal hijo. The concept of good daughter reflects the caregivers in the family. A mother's maternal role is also central to gender notions of care. There is a cultural idea that the mother care is irreplaceable, incapable of enduring any sacrifice for the well-being of her children. Acosta 2015 indicated that this might stem from the cult of motherhood based on Marianism, a cultural system that emphasizes the spiritual strength and patience of a woman. Gender roles among Latinx caregivers play a significant role in caregiving dynamics within the community. Research indicates that traditional gender roles often influence the caregiving responsibilities assumed by the Latinx men and women. Latinx men and women commonly embrace traditional roles, with women predominantly viewed as supportive caregivers within the family structure. Studies focusing on Latina daughters highlight the caregiver roles they undertake within their families. Those roles are deeply rooted in cultural values and expectations, emphasizing the importance of familial support and caregiver responsibilities among Latino caregivers. Furthermore, the orientation to the caregiving role among Latinos of Mexican origin reflects the cultural significance placed on caregiving within the Latinx community. Cultural values such as familism and personalism shape the caregiving experiences and responsibilities assumed by Latinas, highlighting the intersection of gender roles and cultural norms in caregiving practices. In the context of the Alzheimer's disease caregiving, Latinx caregivers navigate between care and caring, balancing obligations, duties, and expressions of love within their caregiver roles. This dynamics reflects the complex interplay between cultural value, familial expectations, and the emotional labor involved in providing care to individuals with Alzheimer's disease. In a study conducted by Martinez and other scholars in 2021, they stressed that understanding gender roles among Latinx caregivers is essential for developing culturally competent support services that respect and align with the cultural values and expectations prevalent within the community. By acknowledging and addressing these gender dynamics, healthcare providers can better support Latinx caregivers in their caregiver roles while promoting culturally sensitive care practices. In their 2022 study, Martinez and Acosta Gonzalez concluded that male caregivers express a different experience of care. Instead of being threatened, intimacy with the care recipient is affected. Male caregivers express not having innate maternal qualities and experience particular difficulties adjusting to duties that women are already accustomed to. Some participants of different studies, particularly caregivers providing care for their spouses, experience difficulties sustaining their marital relationship and providing high quality of care. Males also tend to have different caregiving experience based on their relationship with the care recipient. Males caring for mothers or a family member may seek to detach themselves and see their loved ones as a patient. In another study from Martinez and Acosta Gonzalez in 2022, it was argued that some conflicts come from discrepancies between cultural expectations of care and the daily changes of caregiving. As a consequence, Latinx women are impacted in their social and personal lives as well as in their labor participation. When men provide care, they are seen as a section of the culture now. They're doing something very specific directed to ladies. And when the males participate, they are praised for that participation. So they often receive those praise for their extraordinary caregiving efforts. Social inequalities show up in the social valorization of care and its execution. In another study conducted by Martinez and other scholars in 2022, the scholars concluded that among the Latinx group, caregiver responsibilities are typically assigned to women due to cultural assumptions of women as natural nurturers and caregivers, and cultural expectations that women should prioritize family over individual desires. This cultural idea is reinforced by the healthcare providers' narrative, which mainly assume that Latina women are natural caregivers. They are constantly attentive to and supportive of all their adults' routines and needs, even if this negatively impacts their self-care. Latinx cultural values. It is important to acknowledge that within the Latinx community, gender roles often play a significant part in caregiving dynamics. Women in particular are often expected to take on caregiving responsibilities, which can have implications for their own well-being and mental health, whereas men are expected to provide and facilitate the acts of caring without getting deeply involved in it. The richness of the cultural dynamics of the Latinx population presents to say the least. The Latinx community encompasses diverse cultural values that shape the caregiving experience for ADHD patients. Familism, or the strong emphasis on family unity and interconnectedness, influences how caregiving responsibilities are distributed among family members. Additionally, el respeto, or respect, which emphasizes respect for elders, plays a significant role in shaping the dynamics between caregivers and ADHD patients within the Latinx community. Understanding these cultural values is essential in providing culturally sensitive care for ADHD patients and supporting their caregivers. Cultural nuances that inform caregiver surviving assistance. Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients encounter a unique spectrum of challenges that are influenced by their cultural background. Language barriers, limited access to culturally sensitive resources, and financial constraints can all impact the caregiving experience. Additionally, the stigma surrounding mental health issues within the Latinx community can create additional hurdles for caregivers seeking support and understanding. Among the U.S. Latinos, caregiving is guided by ethics of care that responds to cultural scripts to the ideas of family, harmony, and cohesion. Thus, caregiving of older adults ought to embody the sacrifice of the individual or personal desires or goals in the service of others, altruism, collectivism, and interdependence. Understanding the influence of cultural values and gender roles is essential to providing effective support for Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients. Culturally responsive interventions that recognize and respect these values can help alleviate the burden of caregivers and improve the quality of care provided to ADHD patients within the Latinx community. The Latinx group of people express their belonging by following certain cultural characteristics that determine their understanding of care and caring. Familism, Marianism, respeto or respect, and dignity or dignidad. So let us explain what is the meaning behind those terms and what it means for the population. Familism, or familismo, implies a strong sense of loyalty, reciprocity, and solidarity among members of the same family, which can lead to greater involvement of extended family in care, work, and reduced perception of the caregiver burden. Furthermore, familism refers to a strong identification with an attachment to nuclear and extended family ties among the Latinx culture. This includes a strong feelings of loyalty, reciprocity, and solidarity within the family unit. Familism has been connected to positive outcomes such as social support and negative outcomes such as family conflict. Marianism, or Marianismo, is the devotion to the Holy Virgin Mary that comes attached to respect, and dignity, dignidad. Marianism refers to the expectation that women be differential and self-sacrificing for the benefit of the family. By the same token, Marianism refers to the gender role expectations for Latin women to be spiritually strong, morally superior, and emotionally nurturing, similar to the Virgin Mary. This relates to the concept of self-sacrifice and putting the needs of others first. Marianism has been examined as a both and empowering and limiting cultural script for Latinx women. Respect or respeto dictate difference towards certain persons based on age, gender, and authority. Arevalo Flechas and other authors of 2014 indicate that respect refers to a cultural value among Latinx individuals, emphasizing dignity, respectful behavior, and harmonious interpersonal relationships. Cansada Fernandez and Cortez, on their study on 2010, stressed that obedience and duty to authority figures, especially within the family unit, also reflect respect. That has been connected to positive child outcomes, but also potential risks like authoritarian parenting. Dignity is a concept including dignified comportment and appearance. It's important among Latin groups. Maintaining dignity and honor links to cultural values like respeto and marianismo. Perceived traits or acts violating one's dignity can be profound psychosocial consequences for the Latinx people. The implicit assumption is that the family is the natural support network for older people without considering the impact of immigration on family structure or potential strain in family relationships. Several scholars make remarks about what constitutes good care among the Latinx. Thus, it is necessary to know that caregiving is a social relationship that reveals the inequalities of social relations in terms of the gender division of labor, mandates, and the construction of care as women work in a historically undervalued labor. Exploring these intersectional dynamics is crucial in understanding the multifaceted experiences of Latinx caregivers. Let's talk about language. The Latinx population identifies Spanish as their first language. Over recent years, there is an increase on bilingual people on Spanish and English. However, research indicates that first-generation Latinx have a higher percentage of being monolingual in Spanish. Derived from colonization, the Latinx population relates in high percentage as a Catholic. Research also indicates that Latinx participate on diverse religions. However, studies indicate that the common denominator is that the first and the second generation of Latinx in the United States have some connection with religion and spirituality as a fundamental part of their lives. Some of them state belonging. However, several authors have denoted that they are not practicing. For Hispanics in the United States, the education experience is one of accumulated disadvantage. Many Latin students begin formalized schooling without the economic and social resources that many other students receive, and schools are often ill-equipped to compensate for those initial disparities. For Latinx, initial disadvantages often stem from parents' immigrants and socioeconomic status, and the lack of knowledge about the U.S. educational system. As Hispanic students proceed through the schooling system, inadequate school resources and their weak relationships with their teachers continue to undermine their academic success. Initial disadvantages continue to accumulate, resulting in Hispanics having the lowest rates of high school and college degree attainment, which hinders their access for stable employment. Núñez and other scholars stated that although parents and children share high educational aims, their aspirations do not necessarily translate in post-secondary matriculation. This is especially true for Hispanic high school students, particularly those whose parents have not attended college. Mexican American, who are the largest and fastest growing Hispanic group in the United States, have the lowest rates of educational attainment compared with other groups.
Cuban Americans report the highest level of school completion, and older Hispanics report the highest bachelor degree attainment. Most data do not distinguish among Hispanic subgroups, disregarding important cultural and economic differences. According to the 2022 U.S. Census, the Hispanic population and educational attainment grew, especially high school graduation rates. In 1986, 58.2% of the Hispanic population, ages 25 to 29, graduated from high school. By 2021, the share increased to 88.5%. According to Gonzalez Barrera 2015, many Latino adults in the United States are bilingual, where 59% of those speaking English also speak in Spanish. Another scholar highlights ways in which language experience powerful shapes brain and cognitive function. Bilingualism might play an important role in one's protection or risk of developing dementia later in life. One idea is that bilingualism might build cognitive reserve, allowing the brain to better cope with ADHD-related changes. The intersectionality plays a crucial role in shaping the experiences of the Latinx population. Considering how multiple forms of oppression such as racism, classism, sexism, Latinism, and ableism intersect to influence the lives of Latinos. This intersectional perspective allows for a deeper understanding of how various social identities and systems of oppression interact to shape the unique experiences of the Latinx and role on different contexts. Research focusing on Latinx mental health highlights the scarcity of intersectionality studies within the population. As the Latinx population of the United States continues to grow, there is a need for more quantitative intersectionality research to address the complex interplay of social identities and processes that impact mental health outcomes among Latinx individuals. By integrating intersectionality into research of Latinx mental health, a more comprehensive understanding of the diverse experiences within this population can be achieved. From a social work perspective, understanding intersectionality is essential for addressing the disparate experiences of Latinos based on factors such as race, immigrant status, and gender. Ramirez Garcia 2019 indicate the concept of intersectionality acknowledges how overlapping and interconnected social categories influence individuals' experiences and access to resources. By applying critical race theory, intersectional lens, social work research can target the structural forces that perpetuate inequalities and advocate for social justice to empower marginalized populations within the Latinx community. Intersectionality research within the Latinx population provides a valuable insight into how multiple forms of oppression intersect to shape individuals' experiences and access to resources. By incorporating intersectionality into research on Latinx mental health and social work practice, a more nuanced understanding of the diverse challenges faced by the Latinx individual can be achieved. The relationship between the Latinx population and the utilization of healthcare services is complex and influenced by cultural values, language barriers, and systemic disparities. Latinx patients often face challenges accessing healthcare due to cultural barriers that are not adequately addressed or understood in the current healthcare system. Florindez y otros scholars from 2020 indicated that these disparities contribute to health inequities and reduce access to quality care among Latinx communities. The 2021 Alzheimer's Disease Facts and Figures report on race, ethnicity, and Alzheimer's in America found that 1/3 of Hispanics reported discrimination when seeking healthcare. By recognizing and addressing these ethnic determinants, healthcare providers can better understand the unique needs of Latinx individuals and work towards reducing healthcare disparities within this population. From a social justice perspective, it is crucial to implement practice interventions that consider the cultural values and experiences of Latinos and Latinas. By developing culturally sensitive care practices that respect familism and personalism, social workers can address barriers to healthcare access experienced by Hispanic patients, such as lack of transportation and language-appropriate services. These interventions aim to promote social justice by ensuring equitable access to healthcare services for all individuals, regardless of their cultural background. Furthermore, adopting a Latino critical perspective in social work can help challenge systemic injustices and advocate for policies that address the unique need of the Latinx population within the healthcare system. By recognizing and addressing cultural influence on health, social workers can work towards promoting health equity and reducing disparities among Latinx community. Therefore, addressing the relationship between the Latinx population and healthcare services from a social justice lens involves recognizing cultural values, integrating ethnic determinants of health in research, implementing practice interventions, and advocating for systemic changes to promote equitable access to health care for all individuals within the Latinx community. Quiroz and other scholars on 2022 highlight that among cultural considerations discussed is also needed to include a tendency for Latinos to wait until a crisis or emergency occurs before seeking help, which might be too late for ADRD interventions. Therefore, the scholars stress the importance to encourage Latinos to ask questions to the primary care doctors or other healthcare personnel, and encourage healthcare providers to ask for information about interventions. Furthermore, healthcare personnel should allow patients and their families to describe their symptoms in their own words, because the words used might be different from those used regularly by non-Hispanic whites. The power of language that unifies or separates people. Although the Latinx population comprise descendants of people originally from 20 different countries, it is important to remember that Spanish has different meanings according to the origin of the people. So asking for clarification, inviting people to talk, inviting people to reflect on the information received, and ensuring that they are understanding what is said, it is a must. The interaction of genetics and environmental factors in the development and progression of Alzheimer's disease and related dementias is complex for the Latino population due to the influence of lower levels of education, acculturation, socioeconomic conditions, immigration, language proficiency, and bilingualism, among others. The intersection of cultural values and gender roles significantly impacts the mental health and the well-being of Latinx caregivers. The stress associated with caregiving, compounded by cultural expectations and gender norms, can lead to increased levels of anxiety, depression, and burnout among caregivers. Addressing these challenges and providing support systems that acknowledge the unique cultural context within which Latinx caregivers operate is crucial. Mental health and the impact in the silent patients. As the aging population increases, the demand for caregivers would gradually increase. Risk factors indicate that the future burden of ADRD would be disproportionately seen in individuals in specific racial backgrounds, such as Hispanic and Latinx. Caregiver burden and poor mental health in family caregivers result in adverse long-term effects. The Alzheimer's Association in 2010 said that research has also shown that it can negatively impact the person with ADHD. Caregivers face depression, anxiety, physical burden, emotional trauma, stress, fatigue, and all the long-term adverse effects. Caregivers motivated by a sense of duty, guilt, and social-cultural factors experience psychological distress greater than caregivers with more positive motivations. Harrington et al. Of 2022 identified a significant policy gap in supporting female family caregivers who provide most of the care to persons with ADHD, risking their health and financial security. They also found nuances of gender, power, ideologies, and compulsory altruism. It is imperative to address the mental health of patients and caregivers equally. As services were described in different studies, the mental health care is focused on stabilizing and making the patient feel comfortable. However, the caregivers become the silent patients, that given their caring demands, sacrificing self-care. Subsequently, they start also presenting with issues that hinder their ability of remaining healthy and present to care for others. Flores and other scholars in 2009 argued that in research and practice, a homogenized view of the Latinx caregivers is assumed with little attention to how caregiving expectations, experiences, or practices might vary by social characteristics such as gender, generation, or acculturation. Traditional gender images are in dispute, while others are in transition. Given the cultural nuances of the Latinx populations, caregivers do not seek mental health support with the frequency that they should. They can confront mental health needs when the systems are burdensome or are directly impacting their ability to conduct the daily routines. Therefore, the importance of when conducting medical follow-ups, the medical personnel also include the caregivers in their assessments in order to provide the support that they need. So it's adding a space for those visits with the doctor, with the nurse, with the psychologist, with any provider within the healthcare system, in which the caregiver becomes the voice of the patient. In order for the patient and the system to continue receiving the benefits of quality of care by providers, it is crucial, absolutely important, to ensure that that caregiver has all the resources, the capacity, and the care to continue caring. Now let's talk about acculturation, adaptation, assimilation, and what that means for the Latinx people. Acculturation, adaptation, and assimilation play crucial roles in the experiences of Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients. These concepts are essential in understanding how caregivers navigate the challenges of caregiving within the context of their cultural background. So, acculturation refers to the process through which individuals from one culture adopt elements of another culture while retaining aspects of their own cultural identity. In the context of the Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients, acculturation involves balancing traditional cultural values with the demands and expectations of the healthcare systems in society at large. Adaptation involves adjusting to new circumstances or environments while maintaining a sense of cultural identity and values. For Latinx caregivers, adaptation might involve finding culturally relevant ways to provide care, seek support, and navigate the healthcare system while honoring their cultural heritage. Assimilation occurs when individuals fully adopt the cultural norms and practices of a dominant culture, often leading to a loss of their own original cultural identity. In the context of Latinx caregivers, assimilation might involve adopting mainstream healthcare practices while potentially facing challenges related to language barriers or cultural differences. According to Quiroz and other scholars in 2022, they indicate that those concepts highlight the complex interplay between culture, identity, and caregiving experiences among Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients. Understanding acculturation, adaptation, and assimilation is crucial for developing culturally sensitive interventions and support systems that effectively meet the needs of this diverse caregiver population. Kukan and other scholars of 2017 highlighted that many people who care for their patients are overwhelmed with these responsibilities and emotional burden, and their quality of life and even body physiological become impaired. The incapacity, despair, weariness, and loneliness experienced by caregivers of ADHD patients are invisible parts of the iceberg. Several studies document that Latinx caregivers demonstrate remarkable resilience and strength despite challenges, drawing for the cultural values of solidarity and familial support. Many caregivers find innovative ways to navigate the complexities of caring for a loved one with ADHD. This resilience is a testament to the deep-rooted cultural strengths within the Latinx community. Now let's do a recap and to explore the takeaways from this episode. Advocacy efforts to address cultural barriers and promote inclusivity can help create a more supportive environment for Latinx caregivers. In recent years, support systems and community resources have highlighted growing reconnection with the need for culturally tailored support services for Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients. From bilingual support groups to culturally sensitive educational materials, these resources aim to bridge the gap and provide much-needed assistance to caregivers navigating their roles within the context of the cultural values. The experiences of Latinx caregivers of ADHD patients are deeply intertwined with their cultural values, presenting both challenges and strengths. By recognizing these dynamics and advocating for culturally responsive support systems, we can work towards ensuring that all caregivers receive the assistance they need while honoring their cultural identities. Thank you for joining us in this insightful exploration on Latin caregivers within the context of the Alzheimer's disease and related dementias. The population multifaceted cultural background and the needs to elevate their voices by incorporating them in the design and implementation of supportive services. This episode highlighted information that supports the audience's understanding of cultural differences that affect the way in which the Latins present within the American societal context. Resilience and hope mark the life experiences of these populations that have been documented as influential in many levels of society. To all of you supporting this series, thank you. Thank you, thank you. My name is Sylvia Vernaza, and as a person and a professional committed to talk about social justice subjects, The invitation is to spread the word and share this podcast series openly and intentionally with other people that can benefit from it. I am also delighted to be the host for the series, The Memory Keepers. Until the next episode, I wish you all health and peace.
Remember that at the end of the series, you can complete a questionnaire as a requirement to obtain a certificate of completion. To access, please contact sylvia.bernaza2@siemens.edu.